Hello everyone, Rebecca here from Simple Suburban Living, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a very simple chicken pot pie from items that you can store in your pantry. So I've got here a can of chicken breast. It is a 12.5 ounce can, a can of fresh cut green beans, some cream of chicken soup, and a package of Bisquick garlic cheese biscuits. Now you'll notice that the Bisquick is just add water, and that's one reason why it's a great thing to store in your prepper pantry. Okay, now just first a little disclaimer, I haven't actually made this. I just thought I'd experiment, and I will show you my process, and then I will show you how it turns out. I'll be honest about how it is. Now, again, all of these items require no additional ingredients. The only exception is that the Bisquick requires you to add a half a cup of water. All right, so I'm going to start off by putting this soup, this cream of chicken soup, in the casserole dish. Now I'm hoping, actually it's more of a pie pan, I'm hoping that I have a pie pan that is deep enough to hold all this. If not, I'll have to change course midway through and grab something else. But my goal is to not have to dirty another pan or another bowl or anything. I'm wanting to keep this as simple as possible. And this could be a great prepper pantry item, or it's also just good to have this type of thing on hand in your pantry for an easy meal. Okay, now let's add the chicken. Now you can drain the chicken, but I've decided that I'm going to just include the juice. Oops, I got the spoon all dropped down in there. But anyway, I'm going to include the liquid from the chicken and from the green beans. And the reason is that I want this thinned down a little bit. And so I'm hoping that it's not going to be too thin. We'll find out. Okay, and actually that's looking fairly thin, isn't it? So I think that I'm not going to put the liquid from the green beans. I'm going to go ahead and drain the green beans. And so I need to go over to the sink. I'll drain them and I'll be right back. Okay, I've drained my green beans and I'm just going to dump them in there and stir it all together. And this is a little soupy, but I think that the biscuit mix is going to absorb some of the liquid and that it'll turn out fine. We'll find out. Now, if it so happens that this ends up just being too watery, then I'll know in the future to drain things and just add a tiny bit of water to the chicken soup. Okay, gonna mix that up, and that looks like it's fairly well evenly distributed. There's some really big chunks of chicken, which is actually why I like the Great Value brand chicken, because it tends to be really good and chunky. Okay, now what we're going to do is I am going to mix up the biscuit mix. And by the way, I already have the oven heating at 450 degrees. And I have, it calls for a half a cup of water. I have 2/3 of a cup, so I'm not going to put all of it in right away. And I'm just going to use the same spoon that I used to mix up the filling mixture, the green bean and so on. And okay, this to me actually looks pretty good. So you don't want to over mix biscuits. All right. So now what I have here is I cut a piece of wax paper and I traced the bottom of the dish, of the pie dish, just to give me an idea of the size that I want these biscuits to be. So I don't want to roll it out too big, but I don't want it to be too small either. Okay, And this doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so I actually think I added just a little bit too much water to this. So I'm going to grab some flour and do that. So that's actually a good lesson, is start off by adding just a little bit of flour and add more to it as needed. I'll be right back with some flour. Okay, just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on there. Don't need a whole lot. And I might be able to get away. I have a rolling pin, but I might be able to get away without even using a rolling pin on this. If so, that would be really awesome, because part of my objective here is to create something with as few ingredients and as few tools as possible, so that if you were ever in a situation where you didn't have a whole lot available to you, you would be able to make this casserole. All right, so I'm going to pull this pie part here, and we're just going to flip this over and peel it back. You can see it's a little sticky, but that's okay. And you can see how that fits on perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven to bake. And I am assuming that this is going to take about 30 minutes, but I'm going to check it in about 20 minutes. And in the end, I'll let you know how long it took to bake at 350 degrees. And I'll also show you the end product. Okay, so here it is out of the oven. It ended up taking 25 minutes, and I let it rest for 5 minutes. And I am going to dish it up, and I'm going to have my mom give a taste test. Now I can already tell that it's a little bit thin. I may have added too much liquid to it, but we'll give it a try and see. Now the good thing is that it being a little bit watery can be kind of nice when it comes from the perspective of it being kind of like a sauce with the biscuits. Okay, so we'll see, but if you want it thicker, you could just add less liquid to it. Now remember, I put all of the juice from the can of chicken, and so if you wanted it thinner, I would leave that out and then just add a little bit of water or milk to it to get it to your desired consistency. Okay, so I'm gonna give my mom her chicken and salad, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so Mom, just give it a taste and let us know what you think about it.
Okay.
It might be a little hot, so.
Get that green bean. Very good.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that it turned out well. And it looks like the dog wants a taste of it too.
I dripped a little bit.
Yeah. So she's going to help my mom clean up because she dripped a little bit on her top. All right, everyone. If you enjoyed this and if you want more content from me in the future, I'd really appreciate it if you would like this video and give me a subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much. Have a great day.